4 months ago, Fragpunk looked like a serious contender in the hero shooter space. Flashy trailers, Xbox Game Pass backing, and on top of being free to play, it had a mechanic no other shooter in its niche had. Cards that could literally rewrite the rules of a match. These shard cards allowed the game to truly stand out in a crowded genre. This twist helped the game not only having to rely solely on gunplay or hero powers, but the wild modifiers that changed the game rules on the fly was the biggest appeal of the game. And these cards weren't just gimmicky rule changes, some of these cards could literally change the season of the map. For instance, one card can turn the map into a winter wonderland, allowing you to slide much longer than you would otherwise. Another could enable you and your team to have a round of infinite ammo, the next low gravity, or double speed. These cards could also give you and your team small buffs like faster movement speeds, extra mags for your guns, or even bullets that explode on impact. But it doesn't just stop at buffs. You could also give the enemy team debuffs and vice versa. Bad knees enable enemies to take fall damage, stand up straight makes it so the opponents can't crouch or slide, and big heads enlarge the enemy team lancers heads, kinda like the mode in Army of Two, the 40th Day. This system of constant change definitely kept matches fresh and you on your toes, requiring you to pay attention not only to your loadout, but also the ever-changing rule maps. Overall, this card meets FPS system really did grab my attention, and I can say that I wasn't the only one. Looking at the trailers for this game, you could see by the views and the comments that a lot of people were interested, or their interest was piqued, to say the least. As much as I like playing CSGO 2 and occasionally Valorant, I welcome other alternatives to the games that I like, specifically ones that bring something new to the niche and aren't just straight up clones, because competition in the gaming genre as a whole, we all know, is good. Just think about the number of additions we got to Fortnite simply because another battle royale had that feature. While it's hard to take players away from their Fortnites or CODs, I still welcome companies to at least try, like Bad Guitar have done here. Now fast forward a few months later to now, and it's a ghost town. Player numbers are down, match queues are a bit long, and the future is uncertain at best. And honestly, it does suck, because with my time in the game, I've actually had a lot more fun than I was expecting. Having avoided spending any money on the game, I never felt like I was at a disadvantage or anything, or that the game was pay to win. The gunplay is solid, every Lancer does feel unique, and provides different opportunities for player playstyles. My main gripe with the game is really the learning curve. The abilities can be a bit daunting. At first, you do have a lot to learn because every character is unique with different abilities, so that does mean that you have to practice with each one and remember what they can do and how to best utilize the Lancer. Now, when I looked at the Steam charts, Steam reviews, and the dedicated Reddit to the game, I started to understand and paint a picture on what may have been this game's unfortunate downfall. The game started to falter literally about a month after release. This was most likely due to two things: really bad gacha-like mechanics and the wait time between Season 1 and Season 2. Much like the issues with Halo Infinite, it just took too long for the game to receive more free content. The follow-up for Season 1 came in the form of Season 2, which launched 4 months later. I don't know why companies keep doing this. In this day and age, if you're making a free-to-play game that's solely relying on free content, you might want to get that out within a month of release. It's likely that players grew impatient with a long wait, and the gacha store didn't help either. The store prices were and still are kinda absolutely insane. Now, while the launchers are fine, they only cost about $5 worth of in-game currency. The skins and weapon skins, however, will cost you dang near an arm and a leg. But just the featured items, the regular shop items, is filled with essentially loot boxes, so you might get gold or poop, you just don't know. These factors drove a large amount of players to leave, and with the game's falling player count, the devs behind the game decided to do what a lot of games do when they're in this state, and that's by adding bots. And look, I used to staunchly be against bots in multiplayer at all, mainly due to my competitive nature and drive to play against another human, but the devs really messed up by adding bots into ranked, a mode that in many games people like me go to avoid bots and really test their skills out against real players. And that's something that many people, including me, are indeed against. I understand bots to the regular game modes, but ranked? Yeah, nah, I just can't get with that. You really can see that people for the most part are done with this game. I was taking a look at the game's X account, and you can see just off this simple ad for an ornament, people really have a bit of disdain for this game. The top reply says dies from cringe, and it's the picture of the frog from Shrek. Another user says you got 2 months left. Another comment says, not gonna lie, glad I've stopped playing this game. I don't need this brain rot crap in my life. Someone else says, this is why your game is dead, guys. Another one says, yeah, just shut down the servers already. This could be isolated because it was a brain rot TikTok trend, and usually those do garner a lot of disdain from non-brain rotted people. But I do have to wonder that with the falling player count and seemingly lack of interest around the game, how long can this game stay alive for? Fragpunk still has potential in my opinion. The core gameplay loop, when it works, is unpredictable, chaotic fun, and the time-bending mechanics and rule-changing cards are genuinely unique to the genre. I don't think any other game has this card-like mechanic when it comes to FPS games. In the live service world, uniqueness unfortunately isn't enough. You do need momentum, trust, and communication, and it seems like Fragpunk is dangerously low on all three. If the developers want to save this game, they do need to act now. If they don't, Fragpunk will just become another entry in the long list of online shooters that flash bright and burnt out fast. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.